Uh, as far I was watching stuff on the news about the Chinese hacking, and I don't know what it's about and stuff because I just had to look up the crescent moon to see what causes it, and it's some kind of thing with the angle between the Earth and the moon, and the way the moon and the Earth are in proximity to each other, and the way the sun hits the moon, and the way that the moon is orbiting above the going around the Earth and stuff. So it's like, oh, okay. Never really. I mean, I do pay attention to the celestial bodies and stuff, but not to the point that other people do. But it's interesting. I was told that when you do look at things, that it gives you a greater perspective of life outside of your ego. You know, that's why Muhammad was very adamant about the crescent moon and the stars and the stuff and things. Is just trying to get people to be humble and to understand the beauty of the infinite glory of grace. Yeah. And so it's very interesting. But as far as I was looking at the stuff about the Chinese hackers, and I can't tell you what they're doing. It could be stuff that they're doing to try to expose certain groups to um, technological controls, or it's not controls, it's manipulation. Sorry. Um, you got to understand that the Chinese government, uh, these are people that have mass murdered their own people for a long time. And then, where I understood, when they put the thing about only one child, okay, as far as reproduction, and then having a billion people and being able to administer that and quote what you would perceive as enforce that. To me, I think it would have been a lot better if they found ways to educate instead of dictate. That you explain exponential growth, and of course they did, but then they said this is what you're going to do, and then it got hideous because they got to the point where people were aborting girls and just wanting boys, and they had way too many boys and not enough girls. And that's happened a lot. That's happened in Japan with certain things and stuff too. And so having that egocentric male perspective, you can't have children without girls. And so the girl is very essential for survival on planet Earth because we weren't able to do cloning. You know, with the gift given for us to live as human beings is sexual reproduction. Women, I guess there are certain things where women could like asexually reproduce, but it would only produce a female. But the the results are not as they're very egocentric and not as compassionate and or desirable as two people sexually reproducing. Okay. So there's just a lot of things. If you study, what's going on, you just go, okay, this is optimal. Is sexual reproduction. That's why Jesus Christ referred to them as holy covenants, right? And so when you sit and you watch the stuff that's going on, I can't tell you for sure what's happening. It is entirely tangible that the Chinese could be hacking into United States stuff to target technology towards their competition. Okay. And why they have competition, I don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know why people would fight and kill rather than understand the Lord's Prayer and submit to the beauty of it and share it worldwide. I can't explain to you what they're doing and why they're doing it. I can't explain to you why people are still pretending to be people they're not on television for make-believe money and then talking about it on TV shows about how wildly successful that kind of egotistical waste of time is you know, it's, I can't tell you, you know, and how people they have the ads over the El Paso Mayor thing. You're like looking at these two businessmen talking about who's worse at doing things for money in El Paso to be one of the people that becomes involved in the manipulation and the genocide operations of El Paso. And you're like, yeah, who's worse at it? Who's worse at being a pimp and a drug dealer in El Paso who gets elected through a popularity contest by people who believe that money's real? And you're sitting there looking at it going, okay. There's this book called the Bible, and Jesus talks about the splinter and the plank. You know, you guys might want to take that into consideration while you're sitting there watching the news and saying that, you know, the Chinese have hacked into your phones. And you're like, why have they hacked into your phones? And why do you think you need money uh, to be safe or to be secure or to have food? Okay. Why do you think you have to uh, go to a business and do things that are excessive, compulsive, and irrational to justify your existence to live here to people that are excessive, compulsive, and irrational? You know, why are you doing certain things? You know, I can't explain it to you because I'm not like you. So all I can explain to you is why don't you accept the Lord's Prayer and share the beauty of the Lord's Prayer worldwide today? You know. So I'm going to take off. I'm going to go let this load up and go soak in the Epsom salt to help with my groin and other parts of my body that are surviving abuse from my own quote government, you know, which is pretty wacko. But um, uh, you know, it's something that I've gotten a lot in communication and prayer. You know, Jesus, you know, I was crucified by the Romans, and my own people offered me up to him, and you know, Haile Selassie was betrayed by his own people, and you know, and so you sit there and look at it. It's like it's just you sit there and you think to yourself, you know, if I'm the person whose life is the source of the Book of Revelation, you think they treat me this bad? It's like you just go look at the books and go, Daniel, Joseph, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would think they would treat me this bad and not believe that what I am doing is correct and believe that there's some way to beat me at some kind of game. And I was like, there's no game, just live the Lord's Prayer. And don't worry about turning bighorn sheep loose in the Franklin Mountains until after you've parked all the cars, bars, and wars and submitted to faithful, loving peace and are living the Lord's Prayer. Then you'll worry less about hitting sheep while you're driving your car, because you won't be driving your car to extortion gig. You'll be living in your house and taking care of your environment because you're intelligent. Okay, guys, love you very much. Cart before the horse. You guys are always doing that. Okay, peace out.